Hold on tight, fans, because what I have to tell you today will stir your emotions like it hasn't in a long time. Imagine this: the sun setting over the University of San Diego campus, blue and gold flags waving, emotional fans with tears in their eyes, and a legendary coach signing every cap, every jersey, as if he were writing a new chapter in the Bolts history with his own hands. It sounds like a scene from a movie, right? But it happened, and it happened now. While many people still criticize that controversial 2016 change, the Chargers decided to literally turn back the clock. And what happened these days in San Diego was much more than just practice. It was a reunion of souls, a reconnection with the roots that still live on in every passionate fan. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Because in the midst of all this excitement, a bombshell dropped during training camp and shook up the entire team's offensive plan. Mike Williams retired out of nowhere. That's right, one of the key players at the most underserved position on the roster decided to hang up his boots midway through the preseason. And now, what was supposed to be a safe journey toward 2025 has turned into a maze of doubts, risky choices, and possibly the return of a beloved fan hero. So, before I tell you everything Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert are up to behind the scenes, do this. If you truly wear this jersey with pride, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. Because what I'm about to reveal to you now, you won't find anywhere else. This story is filled with twists and turns, emotions and decisions that will change the future of the Los Angeles Chargers. And you'll understand every detail now. Get ready to dive into a piece of news that touched the hearts of the Chargers' most loyal fans. If you're a diehard fan, this story will give you goosebumps. In a thrilling turn of events, the Los Angeles Chargers packed up and temporarily returned to a place many still call home, San Diego. That's right, the team returned to the city that housed the franchise for 56 years, from 1961 to 2016, and the impact was immediate. But why is this so important? Because, since the controversial move to Los Angeles, a large portion of the fan base felt betrayed. San Diego wasn't just a host city, it was a community that lived intensely every pass, every tackle, every field goal. By holding 2 on-field practices at the University of San Diego this week, the Chargers sent a clear message: we still care about you. The practices, which took place, felt more like a reunion of old friends than a preseason training camp. Packed stands, old Bolts jerseys, flags fluttering in the wind. It was a celebration of nostalgia and passion, and Jim Harbaugh made sure to reciprocate all that affection. The Chargers' new head coach not only participated in the activities as usual, but also spent 20 minutes signing autographs for fans before boarding the flight back to Los Angeles. A simple gesture, but one that speaks volume. Alongside him, quarterback Justin Herbert also stood out, interacting with the fans and demonstrating a full understanding of the importance of that moment. The players even mentioned the feeling of love they felt during their 2 days in the city, reinforcing the emotional connection that, even after the move, was never completely severed. But make no mistake, the return to San Diego doesn't herald another change of venue. SoFi Stadium is still the Bolts' official home. However, the message is clear. The Chargers are reclaiming their roots to strengthen the present and prepare for the future. And speaking of the future, a reality check for the fans. One of the team's offensive pillars has left the wide receiver core, which is facing a critical moment. After the warm reunion in San Diego, the Chargers' week took an unexpected and worrying turn. The fans barely had time to breathe between applause and autographs when a bombshell dropped at training camp. Mike Williams, the veteran wide receiver signed this offseason, announced his immediate retirement, and the impact could be devastating. Williams arrived at the Chargers as an experienced prospect after a turbulent stint with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and was seen as the ideal choice to provide depth and leadership to a group of receivers in transition. However, a new serious injury, the kind that saps the soul of any player, forced him to make the difficult decision to retire from football. With Williams' departure, the team is on high alert. Jim Harbaugh and general manager Joe Hortiz must now race against time to rebalance the roster, as the receiving core, already lacking robust depth, now largely consists of youth and uncertainty. We're not closing our doors. Competitors are welcome, Harbaugh said when asked about potential reinforcements. The phrase sounds more like philosophy than tactical plan, but it hides a harsh truth. The Chargers don't seem willing to pursue a big name right now. Trades for stars like Terry McLaurin are seen as unlikely. The most realistic option? Scour the market for cheap players and hope someone fits the bill. In this scenario of uncertainty and restructuring, eyes naturally turn to Keenan Allen, a name that needs no introduction important to any passionate Chargers fan. Allen isn't just a former receiver. He's, for many, the soul of the offense in recent years. He's earned 6 Pro Bowl nominations, made countless game-winning receptions, and built a special connection with the fans and, of course, with Justin Herbert, the face of the franchise. Even far from Los Angeles, Keenan has shown he still has a lot to offer. In 2024, while defending the Chicago Bears, the veteran recorded 70 receptions, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns, respectable numbers in a season of offensive instability for the Bears. For many, Allen's return to the Chargers would be the perfect opportunity to calm tempers, bring leadership to the locker room, and give Herbert a reliable outlet in critical moments. But so far, no concrete moves have been made by the front office. Not a meeting, not a proposal. The silence is starting to become unsettling. According to respected insider Jordan Schultz, the situation may not be in the Chargers' hands. Allen is reportedly waiting for training camp to open to better assess the situation. In other words, he's being patient, watching the board, waiting to see who really needs him. This could be a strategic opportunity for a reunion, should the Chargers feel the pressure and decide to act before another team snaps up the veteran. On the other hand, it may be the clearest indication yet that the franchise is indeed ready to dive headfirst into a new era. An era of youth. And what kind of youth is that? Get ready to memorize these names: Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Trey Harris, Keandre Lambert-Smith, and even Jalen Reagor, who has been surprising by receiving several reps with the starters in training camp. McConkey, in particular, has been attracting attention since minicamp. The rookie has shown an above-average level of maturity and route reading, as well as being explosive after the catch. Quentin Johnston, a first-round pick in 2023, enters the season with the mission of proving he can be more than just potential. He needs to become a reality. This bold approach from the front office was dubbed by Daniel Popper of The Athletic as the dart-throwing strategy. That is, throwing several low-cost options, crossing your fingers, and hoping one hits the target. And to be fair, this philosophy paid off in 2024. Players like Poona Ford, Will Dissly, and Elijah Molden arrived underdogs and delivered far more than expected, proving that there's talent hidden in the NFL's second tier. However, this tactic isn't foolproof, and when we're talking about a quarterback of Justin Herbert's caliber, the margin for error needs to be minimal. Herbert has dealt with instability in the receiving core over the past 2 seasons and has still delivered solid performances. But with the absence of established names, the burden of playmaking is likely to fall even more heavily on his shoulders, a risk that could cost victories. If the team wants to protect its most valuable investment, Herbert himself, it might be time to consider a name that inspires security. Amari Cooper emerges as a hot option. The 5-time Pro Bowler didn't have an easy 2024, split between the Browns and Bills, but in 2023, he showed that, when well coached, he can still surpass 200 yards and be dominant. According to USA Today, the Chargers would be a logical destination, and necessary, as Cooper would bring experience, tactical discipline, and a winning mentality that this new group lacks. And now, fans, the big question remains: will the Chargers continue doubling down on youth, or finally give their quarterback a reliable and experienced weapon? The front office is facing a crossroads that could determine the success or failure of the 2025 season. Stay tuned here on the channel, because in the next few hours, we'll have exclusive updates on market movements, internal decisions, and the next steps for the Los Angeles franchise. Hit the bell, like this video, and share it with all the fans you know. The future of the Chargers offense is being written right now, and you'll follow every chapter with us.